Alrighties, let's get this started. Hello, hi, welcome. Welcome to Blue Hour. Give yourselves a round of applause for coming out on this treacherous night of balmy, fake spring. Don't get chumped by it. We know what's coming. We know what's coming. Okay. Hi, welcome. All right, so let's get started. We always begin with our land and labor acknowledgements. We want to acknowledge that this event is being hosted on the unceded traditional homelands of the Council of the Three Fires, the Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations. Many other tribes, such as the Miami, Ho-Chunk, Menominee, Sauk, and Fox, also called this area home. The region has long been a center for Indigenous people to gather, trade, and maintain kinship ties. Today, one of the largest urban American Indian communities in the United States resides right here in Chicago, continuing to contribute to the vitality of this city and to celebrate their heritage, practice traditions, and care for the land and waterways. We invite you to take this moment to honor all who came before us, the Indigenous peoples displaced by colonization, as well as those who built this country through uncompensated and compulsory labor, those enslaved and those oppressed. We honor those who came before and all those who continue to live on this land as we hold this shared space for art and expression. So this is the Blue Hour, hosted by Chicago Poetry Center. At the Chicago Poetry Center, we believe that poetry illuminates our individual and shared humanity, fueling thriving lives and healthy communities. Our mission is to connect people and poetry, equitably engage poets with communities, and foster creative literacy in the city and beyond. We envision and work to create a fair and verdant world rooted in artistic expression, human connection, and boundless imagination. There's lots of information about our programs, including our poetry residencies and pop-up performances in Chicago Public Schools, our public performance events like this one, as well as our Critical Conversations anti-racism program in the back on that table. So we have just 3 more readings in this season. On March 20th, we have Edgar Kuntz and translation duo Megan Sung-yoon and Seo Jong-hak, who are going to be reading for us in March, on March 20th. April 17th, we have Scott Woods and Alicia Mountain. And yes, woo for all of that. And May 15th, Angela Zovitz and George Abraham. So, 3rd Wednesday of every month, be here, don't miss out. And then in July, we are going to be launching our 50th anniversary year, which is a big deal. So get excited about that. Stay tuned. Make sure you sign up for the mailing list if you haven't signed up already to get information about all of that. Okay, so we are going to start off with our open mic, which is lottery style. I'm going to draw 5 names from this spiky durian bowl thing. If your name is called, please plan to read 1 poem or 3 minutes, whichever comes first. I like to say, no Viking epics, excerpt your epic if you have one with you. So we have time for everybody. Just a little reminder that poetry induces feelings, so please take care of yourself. If you need to step out and get some air, use the restroom, get some water, whatever, please do so, but just do so respectfully of the people or person on the microphone. Okay. Who's first? Let's see. We have Uriel Barajas. Yes, here he is.
Hi, I'm Uriel. I've been writing for about 20 years. I just realized that, like today, that I've been writing for 21 years now. I guess I would consider myself a love poet, but been divorced for about 4 years, right? And I've had this penchant for, I don't know, the universe just seems to send me the right woman at the wrong time. And so This was weird because I didn't know the history behind pinky promises, and doing them as an adult seemed kind of weird. So this is about the most recent one and a pinky promise. I'm not accustomed to swears by fifth digit, vows sometimes taken as seeds, implanting hope or desire of universal outcomes. A hook of fingers and a press of thumbs. A signing of palms, my soul as collateral. Core of innocence and full of joy, but I'd risk 1,000 needles on Yubikiri. Drift into daydreams with you as silhouette. A vision of wishes from my fervent heart. A vessel for seas, a bird of molded wings, perhaps offspring, and your abode. I'd vest myself as ramp marshaller to guide you home, if you'd ever wish to rest those wings at my hangar. To one day check off that promissory list I held in hand. To all the music, the fireworks, the flowers and dinners I hope to share. And to think that if none of it shall pass, the world may take my fingers, but leave me in my dreams. Thank you.
Give it up for love and pinky promises. And there'll be a special place in my heart for anyone who decides to come fill these empty chairs right here. Because I'm like, look, we're so full. Oh, sadness, joy, sadness. So anybody who wants to fill those things in. Oh, look, I see movement. They're probably just going for a drink. Oh, yes! Oh my God, I really didn't think anybody would do it. Oh, call to action. Oh, and all this for a special place in my heart. Okay, Rachel Cash. Rachel Cash, where are you? Yay!
All right, well, this is my first time here. I didn't think that this was going to happen. So, only my second time reading in public. So, your kindness is very much appreciated. Okay. Which one do I want? Sorry. Okay. Yes, sir. Fill up the room. No. Don't take up too much space. Have more willpower. No. Don't try so hard. Know your worth. No. Don't ask for too much. Be grateful. No. Strive for more. Be charming. No. Don't lead them on. Be spontaneous. No. Don't lose sight of your goals. Be pure. No. Know how to please me. Love yourself. No. Don't be vain. Love me. No. Don't be selfish. Be affectionate. No. Don't be so needy. Be happy. No. Don't be naive. Do better. No. Don't be a perfectionist. Try harder. No. Don't be so desperate. Grow up. No. Look like you're youthful. Be independent. No. Don't ask so many questions. Use your voice. No. Don't be demanding. Trust yourself. No. You're too unstable. Set boundaries. No. Be more flexible. Bend to my every whim. No. Don't you dare break. Be honest. No. Bottle it up. Keep it hidden. Your tears make you ugly. Shut up. Open up. That mouth is mine. You're mine. No. Don't ask me to be yours. Be stronger. Yes, sir, I am. Thanks to you and him and her and them, you saw me in ruins. No, I am Medusa. My gift is my unraveling. Strong enough to shed my skin. Now I'm free to welcome the light back in, so sir, thank you. You thought it was weakness? No, sir, your gift was my breaking. Because your wounds now useful became my making, born to unravel, luckier than the cat with 9 lives. I shed my skin and found I could begin again, and again, and again, and again. Each new beginning, a chance to shed everything that does not serve my soul.
This small corner, Tuesday in Chicago. I wake to the worst air quality in the nation, to a sepia haze clinging over the sun, to another wildfire somewhere in the distance, to a burning we can't undo, to a machine wailing somewhere in the distance, to undone soil, to the thickest saliva on the greediest jaws, to another day on the Gregorian calendar that isn't and is the calendar of the world, to an undone world, to the silence of the morning birds, to the mulberry stains darkening the sidewalk, to summer's early heat, to a burning lit long before I fell asleep, to a hydroxyzine haze, to a wheel that won't stop turning, to a song that won't stop repeating, to another day repeating, to another day heating, to a list of things I'd like to change, to an interview in which I ask the executive what motivates him, to which he says social change, to which I think of the wheel of industry, to the gaseous industry, to an endless need, to a ceaseless want, to a dog-eared page in capital, to the fat-hearted desire of making some small part of this existence better than before, to the wheel in a solstice spread, to another season of unforeseen catastrophe, to another catastrophe, to an exasperated indifference, to the fight against indifference, to a song of hope, to an undone story, to a dog-eared page of history, to another burning, to the wood's last breath before coppering the sky, to a breath I can't take without smelling agony, to a breath, to a haze, to a nation, to the small corner which has been ruined and rebuilt, to the ruins, to the wheel, to orange light, to which I turn. Thank you.
Did. What great thing did you do, Caleb, that got you called? There we go.
Okay, hey everybody. Shallow mind. Oh, the shallow mind, hardly ever kind, unless it flows with purpose, bending over man-made docks I witness. Thoughts wash against the shore, flirting with finite earth forevermore. And when the tide leaves coherence unextended, dry bits are left unattended. Turns out, longing may not be a bluff, mere desire just isn't enough. We hear of feet dipping toes into puddles, but it is life's ripple that cuddles. The force of waves can't change capacity. Perhaps we are frozen into alacrity, victims of natural gravity. The rushes of sound draw us mellow to a flame, although any sparks are dampened all the same. Its cool grief soon numbs the body, waiting between knot and gaudy. Restless, we muddle the waters with sand, too much to see, let alone stand, which clumps together into bars, peering out onto this plaqued surface of ours. With faith stretched in effort as God purely toils, silence proceeds, momentum recoils. Calmly, the touched ground remains, wet returns to dry unchanged. The sandbars of stifled productivity disrupts the path and drains all energy. Why can't I go much deeper than this? The answer drifts back into the open abyss. Thank you.
Love it, Caleb. All right, one more person. And I keep moving my head away from the jars if I can somehow read them just by gazing down. I really can't. But, Regina Bird. Chicagoan by way of Austin now. Visiting us. Applauses again.
A ladder for Booker T. in KI. Beneath my feet, I feel the fierce quake in my ancestors' arms, whose fingers clutch only air below democracy's bottom rung. Hands shuddering with damned rage unspoken for the bitterness raped into my grandfather's near-white skin. And this twisting white apparition, hovering ungrounded is nothing Jacob's angels would use to call me home. Its bottom rung forever a finger's length from my highest sleep. What can I say to you who suffocated in the pit America dug beneath our feet? That your hand-held dreams too small to raise me? Where can I find purchase for my fingers when I am quicksanded in history, arms unmuscled, malnourished by the bitter gruel of an American dream? From the back of my mother, bent over bathtub washboards, over her grandmother, bent over backyard boiling pots of Mississippi white folk sheets, over body, over unnamed black body, wrenching myself over the back my ancestors offered me, all for a chance to prove that I have nothing to prove. Still, the terror encased in the steel of my spine drips yellow when this ladder shudders at the mere draft of my hand, and I am hanging in midair, lynched on a ladder of pipe dreams. On a ladder of pipe dreams, I am hanging in midair, lynched at the mere draft of my hand, and drip yellow when this ladder shudders. The terror is encased in the steel of my spine to prove that I have nothing. All for a chance to back my ancestors offer me, wrenching myself over body, over unnamed black body and white folk sheets in backyard boiling pots of Mississippi. Over my grandmother bent over bathtub washboards, from the back of my mother bent by the bitter rule of an American dream. For this history, arms unmuscled, malnourished, for my fingers when I am quicksanded, where can I find purchase to raise me? Your hands held dreams, no dreams too small. America dug beneath our feet. To you who suffocated in the pit, what can I say? From my highest sleep, its bottom rung is forever a finger's length. Jacob's angels would not use to call me home an hovering, ungrounded nothing. This twisted white ash apparition so near to white skin, and the bitterness raped into my grandfather's hands shuddered with damned rage unspoken below democracy's bottom rung. In my ancestors' arms, whose fingers clutch only air beneath my feet, I feel a fierce quake.
Let's all say hello, live stream people. We love you. Okay. All right. We are headed into our featured readers for tonight. We have Yarberry and Dan Sullivan. I'm super excited to hear these folks. I mean, those of you who have come to many of these Blue Hours know that I don't have a great system for deciding who's going to read with whom. It's basically like who's available and then who, how does it work itself out? And it is called a magic. That's what it's called. Because then when I think about the people and like the conjunction of their work, I get so excited. And I was thinking about these two writers and their work today, and I was thinking about like what it means to risk, what it means to take risks, what it means to occupy a body and move through the body and past the body, and how we language in and out of the body, and other abstract thoughts like that that came into my brain and then floated away, like poems. So I'm super, super psyched for this. We're going to start by hearing from Yarberry, who is a trans poet and writer. Their poetry has appeared or is forthcoming in Agni, Guernica, Tin House, Gulf Coast, Indiana Review, Jubilat, The Boiler, and others. They are the founder and editor of the little magazine Tiger Quarterly. Smith has their MFA in poetry from Washington University in St. Louis, and is now a PhD candidate in literature at Northwestern University, where they study William Blake. Their first book of poems, A Boy in the City, is out now from Deep Vellum. Please, applauses.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for being here. A huge thanks to Marty for inviting me. Round of applause. I really appreciate it, and I'm really happy to be at Haymarket House. I've never been here before, and I've heard such great things about it, so it's nice to have this debut. I do have a book out. I have no copies of it with me. What? I know, dun, dun, dun. And I'm also not reading from it tonight. But if you like me, hey, I'd like a copy of that book. I'm happy to put one in the mail for you. So please say hey later. I also have some prints, which if you just want a reason to say hey, come grab one. I have a tiger one that my wonderful girlfriend designed. William Blake, Tiger, Burning Bright, as well as a really crude version of a quote from the Book of Urizen that I designed. So our aesthetics are very designated here. Great, so I'm actually going to be reading from, wait, what else do I have to say? Thank you all so much for being here. I have some friends here tonight, which I really am grateful for them having to, shown up, as well as a big thank you to our interpreter tonight, so thanks. I sent my poems really late for the interpreter, so I felt bad, so I appreciate the generosity of looking at it quickly. But I'm reading from a new project called Urgent Stars. I've never read from it before, and I've never published anything from it before, so bear with me as this is a little bit of an experiment. They are somewhat visual in that they are kind of shaped like stars, comets, and the premise of the project is to kind of write a cosmos, thinking about transness and some photographs I've taken, which you won't see tonight, where I have kind of been repurposing all of these needles from the syringes I used to inject testosterone as these different stars, and that I've been doing some kind of photo shoots with those. So the idea of them is that the rays of the stars are like the needles of these syringes. So I'll start with the proem of the collection, which is kind of sets the scene as pretty typical lyric poem, and then we kind of move into these more starry poems. And the last thing I'll say before I dive in is that I'm using some like collaged language from a variety of places. I'm not gonna like cite all my sources as I'm reading, but you know, you'll hear a lot of William Blake things, Wordsworth. I know you're so excited. But yeah, Laura Jensen, Gregory Corso, and then also I'm teaching a class on skateboard literature right now. So I'm really like in deep diving like 80s Thrasher magazine. So there are some phrases and things from that as well. Okay, so off we go. And I won't stop while reading. It's kind of a poem of duration and improv. Okay, now it's starting. The boy. He was contingent on being ran to. There he is in his perfect blue jeans. The road was a bruise I swam into. This was what it was like to be beautiful, I thought, careless and brutal. When the moon jellies came out one night, then many, that stupid, endless summer, we watched them glisten in the careless waves, their bodies a massive cloud rising out of that unknown place. Our boards under us on the boardwalk, makeshift benches, sneaking a sip of stolen beer. We were laughing together, not touching, almost touching. That's okay, I don't need that paper. Okay, epigraph. He whose face gives no light shall never become a star. William Blake. All right, urgent stars. Droplets like nothing had to happen to get me here. History, that Frankenstein heart. I wasn't always this possible. The needle goes in soft, smooth. I play the game of pretending to be not afraid, then afraid again. The needle makes a mistake. Testosterone droplets like morning. Droplets like nothing had to happen to get me here. Anyone can get through it, this misery of cornfields and quiet. When we had given our bodies to the wind, when we had given our bodies to a city's streetlights. For night is yours, it is never against you. To see the silver key erected from its holster, to see a man's arm flex its slim muscle right in front of me. I want only a vision that appears right in front of me. To see the silver arm of a star, to see the silver tip of a needle shining over a rural lake, to see a sudden length of bridge shining over a rural lake. So many lakes I've driven over, nameless and tired, to see that strip of sheet metal gleaming in a dirt lot, to see that string of hair, your hair, abrupt and smoldering, to see you when I do the unthinkable. I want to be kissed where it hurts. The language hadn't seen the years it was meant to convey. Sliver of pain at golden hour, blue lambs and swimming deer, blue lambs and swimming deer, blue lambs and swimming deer. The shore is waiting with sublime interrogation. The horizon presses its secret dream. Let us stay in this golden in-between a while, spontaneous pool, whirl of bright fish, two men holding one another like blue lambs, like swimming deer in a dark, cool lake at sunset, plane tummies in late, orange breeze. The other day I was in the store reading the normal heavy metal BS. Does the thought of accessing government computers cause you to orgasm? Yes. Yes. Twisted splendor of the idiosyncratic process of becoming a gender, of twisted splendor. This is a message from God. My girlfriend is telling me to come. I'm getting jacked off into the gloomy drop of a Saturday night. The sequence isn't really working out. There's an unwilling fission between us. You can't really hear me in this language. So what if I had wanted her cheated heart, the soft lie of her voice? My ex taught me it's okay to be heartless as long as you end up happy. Now, this portrait is based off my father, a nice set of black leather boots, two men sharing a plate of hash browns. A tender diner filled with silver breakfast utensils, serving spoons, serrated knives. A woman's scarf falls to the ground, becomes a serpent, and whispers your fate into your own crooked ear in the form of a small, well-researched conference presentation. The two men are father and son, and they'll never speak again. Now the portrait is based off you holding a beer can. Deer run into another field. You see them as they flicker out. It was the only dream I had had in months, the small rowboat floating in the grand abyss of an unknown lake during a perpetual morning. There was nothing to know in a definite sense. Across from me was a large stoic hawk. He was looking me in the eyes intently. We were communicating quietly all night. When he left, I was alone and somehow new. It was the only dream I had had in months. Over one summer, needling myself in a bathroom in Paris, a stranger's apartment in Rome, down the street from the Castle Saint-Angelo, 5 blocks from Blake's favorite home, a horrible dorm room in London, I pushed in the mystical sap. I grew deeper down into the body's carnival. I wish these days hadn't gone so fast. I had almost thought I had forgotten you. Another night flexing self-control. Finally, a ridiculous weakness. The angels creep in where your body meets the earth. Swimming, she cuts her foot on a rock, her wet hair thrown across my summer belly. I am always meant to symbolize something. Promiscuous thoughts, casual bewilderment of two bodies touching, unmanageable pantheon of sad marvels, the gutted fish stirs in forgiveness. I want to say my life is real, or I want to say my life is really something. Clowns and brilliant highways, promiscuous reading practices. Oh, to have once fallen in love without a body, a shape, a landscape full of worms, ages, lost hope, atrocious cities and swampy harbors. Time orients what is or is not a fantasy. For most of my life, I thought this was it. I had always wanted to want my life. Because the known and the unknown touch. The plasticity of a persona is hazardous. I grow out my beard. I am short, but I have big feet. I am always handed the bill. This little theater of masculinity, bedazzled in stars, bedazzled in aggression. You're so angry, but no one wants you to be. They don't think you deserve it. You got what you wanted, didn't you? Another day, and I am misgendered while ordering food at a drive-thru. A friend tells me it isn't that bad. I don't blame him. He doesn't know what it's like to feel thrown from your ground, ontological ground, so suddenly, urgently, this simple life of having what one thinks one should have, like a polite gender, like a polite way to accept disruption. That my high-pitched lilt and tone should always be a sign that I should take what is given to me. It isn't that bad to be reminded that no one thinks of you the way you think of you. You're an anomaly, a bad copy of the real thing. What he meant was, you should be grateful things aren't worse. There is nothing sacred about style. The balloon takes the shape of a heart, a star, a perfect oval. I dress up my state ID in starry nomenclature. In my unwanted novel, two workers fall in love. Gender doesn't matter until time of publication. An aesthetic of clarity is fiercely desired more than the art itself, is, of course, the understanding of art. A guessing game has carnal roots. I let my syntax graze on ambiguity despite preference for civility. A circus of renderings is greeted with immaculate enthusiasm. Is that really your name? Your mother gave you that name? My father gave me a Johnny Cash t-shirt before he disappeared. It's easy to be a man with such reckless style. I dress up, I try to posture as indefatigable. From Milton by William Blake. There was great murmuring from my hells. One wonderful body, as when a man dreams that everything has its own vortex. First I saw him in the zenith as a falling star, enwrote in thunder, smoke and fire, in cruelties of holiness, shining in darkness, glorious upon the deeps. The past didn't understand how to speak about gender. The past didn't understand anything, since it was only a concept full of these gaps between us. The one who interprets in good faith and the one who runs screaming from such a difficult story. At a bar reading, a friend is laughing as I explain the etymology of history as my friend gears up to die. As the park that summer, my lover and I hunted for pawpaws growing on a few trees with their thick curves falling to the ground. Its heart of pulp was pale yellow like the guts of a star falling from a vegetal and sutured earth, the earth you fell off of and up into the cool spring sky that March. At first I had a guilt of failure. Then I read Ricoeur's Humernetics. Just kidding. Then I spoke to two men on the phone. They lived in Missouri and drank whiskey in the middle of the day. Best friends, scholars of the unknown. I loved the ease of their manhood, so silly and smart. They wanted nothing other than to read what they loved together. It was an extraordinary intimacy to let yourself be okay with friends. A friend brings over a leather recliner. I sink into it during my post-op recovery, nipples restitched into the galaxy of my chest, while friends take turns emptying my body's drainage. One brings me a cold water. It's the middle of summer, a summer of surgery and celebration. This, according to the stories, makes things better. I am an optimist. Some people like to see handmade realism. You weren't enough until the pang of 30 stags entered the chest like a comet. I knew I should love the world. Spark mask of dusk on the city night skyline, the bright blue burst of living a life, drinking Budweisers in the backyard of your memory, thunderstorms rolling in at the hot dive, an unusual, marvelous object. This body must function like a prophecy, needles full of prophecy, slung galaxy, bang, totally fathomless, then here I am, totally fathomed. Thank you.
Floppy guys. The shirt makes me like one of those floppy guys, by the gas station. The floppy guys. I'm sure that there's a word for them. I don't know it. Okay. Hi. We have another feature. Dan Sullivan is a Chicago-born poet residing in Bloomington, Indiana. Sully considers the male body, its momentum and privilege when moving through the world, but also its softness and vulnerability. He holds an MFA and MA from Indiana University. Sully's poems have recently appeared in Guernica, Rattle, and the Chicago Reader. He's co-editor of the anthology Respect the Mic, celebrating 20 years of poetry from a Chicagoland high school, and author of The Blue Line Home, EM Press 2014. His newest book of poems, Oh Body, is available from Haymarket Books. Sorry, you have to make that sound here when you say Haymarket Books. It's a lie, you don't have to, but it would be so great if you did. I'm going to tell them that. And wherever you like to find your books. You can get in all those places. I think he has like 4 left, so buy it fast after the reading. Welcome to the microphone, Sully.
No, never done a reading on a podcast mic before. It's awesome. Thank you, Marty, and the Poetry Center. Can we have a round of applause for us? Yeah, so my name's Dan Sullivan, but everybody calls me Sully. Please feel free to do so. I always tell students at Indiana University not to call me Professor Sullivan, because that's my dog's name. Yes, this book, Oh Body, I'm really happy to have it out. It came out 2 weeks ago. From Haymarket Books. And it's a migration narrative, moving from Chicago to Bloomington, Indiana. It follows the story of my relationship with my now wife and the journey to becoming a father. But at the core of the book, the parallel to all of those threads is the journey of trying to live in and love my own body. So this poem's called I'm Looking at My Own Body. I'm built like all my uncles, like a football coach, like a football, like a couch, like a teardrop camper, like a yoga ball, like a pink Prius, like a pulpit, like a poorly assembled barn, like half a Nancy's pizza, like a block of cheddar. I look like, I smell like a cabin. Like I just ate your auntie's Labor Day casserole. Like I like Seth Rogen movies. Like a whole milk latte. Like I just have to embrace the man boob, like hold myself in the mirror, like a mirror is different than a photo, like I don't know if I see what I want to or need to, like I see how I regulate gravity, like gravity loves me too much, like damn gravity, I need some space. We've got one. Okay. I'm going to follow that one up with a poem I did not mark with one of these wonderful Post-it notes. So let's see if I can find it. I can't. I should look at the table of contents. Like a real poet. Okay, I'll skip that one for now. Oh, here we go. I got it. I did have a Post-it note. And I can find a home there too. When Mom lost some of her hearing, the noise of traffic and city buses at the curb out front drove forward from the backdrop of our minds and pulled up at our dinner table in Brighton Park, house on the corner of 42nd and California. I went to Peace Lutheran for kindergarten and missed the crossing guard when she was hospitalized after a hit and run. We moved to Oak Park, first suburb west of the city. It was a lot closer to downtown, but that city limit spoke volumes. In the 50s, they built cul-de-sacs all down Austin Ave at the edge of town. It was less about holding and more about keeping out. Ludacris and Hemingway both went to my high school. Not at the same time. I guess I'm asking who gets to speak for the city. I lived in Chicago more years than anywhere else, but what is mine to hold, if anything? There are 77 neighborhoods, and I've had apartments in 14 of them. Starving artist sounds more romantic in a Chicago accent than pioneer of gentrification. I might as well have been born a new Humboldt Park brunch spot next to Likio's barbershop. Maybe I thought I was a part of the landscape, some urban pastoral entanglement that connected me to place. Where am I even from? Rakim said it ain't where you from, it's where you at. Edward Sharp says home is wherever I'm with you. Our CD player doesn't work, so Whitney and I flip radio stations when driving between Illinois and Indiana. I lean more toward a Rakim ethos. I don't even think Edward Sharp is one person, but I do think he's white. So what truth can I live in? Chicago is never mine. That doesn't mean I can't love it. It does mean I can leave. It means there's another landscape, and I can find a home there too. So now is as good a time as any. Yes, I have 4 copies of the book left. I did not order enough. I had a show at the Green Mill Sundays and sold more copies than I thought, which is great for me. With that said, I have a book release party on Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m. and it's in this space. So if you're available, it's free. It's part of the Rooted and Radical Youth Poetry Festival, which is happening now, events for the next month or so. So check them out for sure. Events take place all over the city. There'll be bouts here for their competition during the day that day, so you can just make a whole day of poetry out of it. Haymarket Books will have books available there, or you can get it wherever you find your books. I have a few copies of Respect the Mic, which is an anthology of 20 years of poetry from Oak Park River Forest High School. And there's a lot of great folks in here, like NBA champion Iman Shumpert and comedian Langston Kerman. And it was edited by myself, Hanif Abdurraqib, Franny Choi, and legendary English teacher Peter Kahn. I've got a couple essays and a poem in there, so I have a few copies of that if you can't get a body. All right, enough talk here. We always ate the Kraut Pierogi first. I run the ramp at Cicero, tripping over my Sauconys, and my watch says I already missed the point. On a platform ad, somebody tagged, "No city can bite you." My plan was to read The Bean Eaters by Gwendolyn Brooks on the train. When an angry mob burns books, I wonder what they pretend not to know. It's 8:02 a.m. and I'll be shuffling into work, a half past a stern talking to from Catherine in HR, when up pulls at Ashland and the Eisenhower, the North Pole Express. My Blue Line train car decked out like Santa's sleigh. A 6-foot-tall reindeer costume hands me candy canes, like I'm 9 again. 10 stops to work, and now I'm all jolly in the loop, like it's not morning. Like I'm not mourning. Like Grandma Adeline's tinsel-written tree at 47th and Whipple still has the lights on, or Pierogi from Schlee's Deli is still steaming the length of a table that has all our folding chairs filling the space in her kitchen. Tony with the boat, who lived next door, had a dog we called Pipsqueak. He was 7 pounds packed like snow with the highest pitch bark, another siren serenade at Christmas dinner. I never saw Tony too much, but Pipsqueak had pipes. This was before Uncle Dave moved to Tampa. He worked for Rand McNally and wrapped all of our presents in road maps, like he knew we were going somewhere. So my Uncle Dave, I I talked to him earlier, and he was asking about, he's lived in Tampa for a couple decades now. And when I'm in Indiana, sometimes some of my friends will call me out on having a Chicago accent. I don't think I have a thick Chicago accent, but they hear it apparently. And I was excited because there was like a Giordano's that opened like 40 minutes from me. And I was telling my uncle that on the phone, and he said, yeah, we got a Giordano's down here, you know, it's just like down the block, it's great, you know, I stopped by. I'm like, Giordano's? I can't ever keep up with Uncle Dave. He can be gone for another 20 years, and he'll still be the most Chicago dude I know. He still raps. He's a hoarder, so he's got like a million Rand McNally maps. So he still raps all of our presidents. It's like 40 years of Rand McNally maps. They're out of print. They're like collector's items. The best stories. In first grade, Peter brought a fat branch down on my neck for slogging around the first baseline. It broke the skin and wasn't the first time I blubbered in the grass in front of everyone. I fixed masking tape over my nipples before gym in middle school so they laid flat in my uniform, didn't draw attention, Snickers, or titty twisters. Unlike other fat kids that put t-shirts on to swim in the lake at Montrose, I never wanted to wear anything that made me feel heavier. I'm not sure when I first felt fat. I do know that my first grade teacher told me to pull my shirt down while reading out loud to the class because my belly was hanging out. I don't know how much I liked school, but I learned. I also know when Curtis swung his backpack in circles and hit me in the head on accident, I broke his nose. I know rage erupts from large shadows in my gut. Even today, as a man taking up space, my rage is a child I struggle to know how to hold. I wonder what narratives we privilege, which get retold, when it is okay to be fat or angry. I've heard I was born looking like I had 30 marshmallows smuggled in my cheeks, had toes like 10 dumplings, fat rolls pinch ready. You were a big baby, my mom says every Christmas. I still am, I joke every Christmas. The best stories are round. They come back to you. All right. Read a couple more here. All right. My wife Whitney, she was here for the show on Sunday with our two kids, 3 and 7, and drove them back to Chicago to go back to school for the week, and then she's coming back in for the book release on Saturday. And I was in Kansas City about a week ago. I'm here this week, and she's just holding down the fort with the 2 kids, right? So a lot of invisible labor. So in that sense, I'm missing her, and I felt called to read this. House built in the form of prayer. When the divine arrives, stay off Facebook. It's the God of history, after all. The one that is word, then flesh. Yes, fish are common metaphors. I know what is more important, how the bread breaks, how to knead, how the house on how is built, how there may be mold in the crawl space, how drywall cracks at the seams, how the foundation shifts. Yes, he walked on water. He is the God of lakes too, of toilets, of a sink stacked with bowls and butter knives, of mildew, of the lawn that needs water, of the daughter who hates sleep, of old Indiana copper pipes. Yes, the cross, the God of the broken rocking chair, of the parts that ship from China and won't arrive for 3 weeks, of my wife hunched, nursing on an ottoman until I fix something for once, of arguing over childcare or shoes off at the door, of things I damn well know how to construct. Yes, there was Yara's daughter, raised from death, perhaps. The gospel can't agree. She died, or she was simply sick. Jesus turned toward her in the crowd, or he entered her house. The crowd almost crushed him, or only his disciples followed. We know she was healed. Her mother is never mentioned. She is assumed but has no name. Her daughter has no name. Mostly, I know of all the sons he healed, the official's boy in Galilee, the widows in the book of Luke, then lepers, the deaf, and blind. What miracles does Jesus do for our daughters? I know what mothers do. I know the praise of strangers when I walk the walk of grocery aisles with my daughter strapped in the cart. What a good dad I must be, how present. How invisible it is when my wife shops for the same meals. How I haven't even said her name yet. What happens when I say her name? What little feat to be seen by man. How often does the Bible use the word mother? What sacrifice? How do I use the word? How is mother used? What answer? What saving grace? What act of noticing? All right. I'll read the title poem here and then get out of your hair. I appreciate you listening. Thank you. It's nice to be here with you. Oh, body. But what of the body when it is not a pinnacle? When it is benched, belching, retaining water like a dam or a teeming pink pot? When you, body, lumber your way from point B to A, not broken, but oh, so tired, so full of break room coffee, know that the reflection near the lighthouse on a heavy shore is still yours. You might not know how to let your guard down. I have slept for what has felt like days too. Oh, dry-skinned, wavering body, I know you might need some lotion, but whatever. Let this be your stillness. That's what I can do. Be your reflection, your you, without a rippling wave. Light up the dark and freckled night with your fullness. Oh, man boob. Oh, sunburnt farmer. Some days you can install a ceiling fan all on your own, standing your big ass on the most rickety chair in the house and get away unscathed. But tonight, body, I can't promise you'll be a whole moon note. Name you wolf, wildflower, wave-light. I still need you to know you are worthy of every moon that reminds you of you. I admit I can't always think of a love song. Some days I have to put you on shuffle. Some days, body, you spend an extra 7 minutes on the toilet to avoid work emails. You snag that second walnut muffin from a free continental motel breakfast. Oh, body, you reheat spaghetti in holiday Tupperware and stand the way everyone does in an elevator, front-facing and defeated. Oh, body, your annoying knee bounces under the table until someone, under breath, breathes out, God, stop. Oh, God. Oh, good body. Some days you are just okay, and that's okay. It's all you need to be. I have been there with you when you kick-flipped down that set of stairs on the Lincoln School playground and landed the shit out of it. I filled your lungs with air and watched you hurl it towards stage lights in a Hamburg theater. I love you just the way you are. Call me Fred Rogers. I'll call you Tiger, Daniel. Don't you feel forgotten. Take up space. Take your time. You are more than just adjacent. Oh, body, marooned and frustrated, sure. Maybe you should cut your nails, even though it's only been like a week and a half, but I'm still here with you. You are fine, and I don't mean it like okay. I mean it like damn. Oh, body. Oh, body. Oh, gentle, luscious oaf. Oh, scorekeeper. Oh, you big, lovely history book. You are one loyal animal. I know you can sweat out a last Grant Park lap in June, or even two-step to Edda under a North Lake Michigan moon. I've lived it with you. We love to dance when the mood strikes us at just the right angle. Oh, heavy angel. Oh, sweat lodge. Oh, full belly. Whoa, Nelly, you don't have to be a moon or an ocean, body, because from where I'm standing, the lake upon which your reflection sets feels endless.
Let's go.
Applauses for Sully. All right. That's our Blue Hour, folks. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here. So, 4 books left. 0 books, but some prints. Say hello to your features. There is water, beer, wine in the back. Hang out for a little bit. Get over your introversion, Marty says to Marty. Make a new poetry friend. Big thanks to the Poetry Center staff, our super volunteer Chris behind the phone, and our amazing interpreter Hubla. They won't say it, but we're the worst / best gang. It's all improv here. Great. That's it. We'll see you next month. Bye.
No.